In my new book, I talk about how there are people that will actually be spiritually inclined to inflict suffering upon others. And what we need to do around these kinds of people is recognize that they don't have a capacity for positive emotion. They don't know how to maximize positive emotion. They only know how to run toward pleasure, okay? Because people usually do one of two things. They are either running toward pleasure or they're running away from pain. And the human desire to avoid discomfort really provokes itself and demonstrates itself in these kinds of situations where if you don't have the ability to discern these kinds of spirits, because these people are, I wouldn't say it's like it is a demonic type of spirit, but it's not always uh, inherently evil. They're not always intently malicious. Some people are just so weak. Some people are just so conniving on the inside to themselves that if they're weak, they will inevitably betray you because they don't have the ability to stand on their principle. They don't have the ability to stand on their ideals. They don't have the ability to look and assess a situation and say, look, you know, here's what's happening in situation A. Here's what I want to get to. Here's what I want to have happen. Situation A, B, C. Get to that point, right? How do I get from situation A to situation C? Well, there's going to be certain proclivities to modes of being that you're going to have, but a lot of these times, these kinds of people, they want to stay in situation A because it's comfortable. They know what it's like there. But these people are weird, man. These people are weird, and I swear they're allergic to positivity. It's like they can't even breathe around positive energy. And if you are positive around them, you can just feel your soul just being like almost taken from them. Like every word you speak, it feels like it just goes into a void. Like the words are not being heard, the words are not being listened to, you're not being seen, you're just like speaking into an abyss. And the abyss just is like a black hole and a vortex that just sucks all of the goodness out of everything. They don't want to get out of the vortex situation. They want to stay in the vortex situation. And it's so profoundly amazing to see in a not so great way. It's profoundly amazing to see the levels that people will go to stay allergic to positivity. It's profound, man. And look, like there's going to be times in life where you maybe make some really dumb decisions. But if you can keep a positive mindset and still have self-respect and still walk in your principles and your standards and your values and understand that, like, look, yes, this is a situation that I don't want to be in, but here's what I'm doing to get out. And I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm going to sabotage myself even more than because like, here's the thing, right? A lot of the times when people are put in hard positions or put themselves in hard positions, they make stupid decisions to try to get out of those terrible decisions to begin with. And I know that because I used to be that kind of person where I got myself into situations that were stupid. And then because I made stupid decisions, I really was not thinking straight. And there was, times where I thought, what was I thinking? Well, I was just thinking about running toward pleasure because I was thinking about running toward pleasure and away from pain. But it wasn't until I got older that, and even now, like there's still situations where you have to recognize, like it's more subtle in how you recognize whether you're actually running toward pleasure or running away from pain. Because it's like the more you level up, the more subtle the nuances of life begin to become. And you might make you might build something for years just for one decision to catastrophically change your course for the next, few years or whatnot. And, or for the next decade. Who knows how long it's going to take you to reframe this, right? But the thing is if you can just keep a positive mindset, like an unbreakable mindset, this is what's really going to transform you into the man or the woman that you need to be. And you have to recognize if you're making dumb decisions to try to get out of those dumb decisions that you made in the first place. Well, how do you know that? Well, I really don't know. It really depends on the situation. I can't say like, well, it's exactly like this. I don't know enough about your situation or anybody else's situation to say, here's exactly what you need to do. And again, I'm not giving advice on this channel. I don't give advice anymore. I used to believe I was giving advice, but now it's like, you know what? I'm not qualified to give advice. Okay. All I can tell you is how to capitalize on what's working for me. Like, this is what I'm doing, and to stay clear of the red flags. Because if you see red flags, let's say you have a job opportunity, but you see the red flags coming into play with this new job opportunity, you might need money. Okay. You might need certain things. Who knows what your situation is, right? But is it worth that time? Like, is it worth you going into an even worse situation? Like, putting your soul at risk? I mean, is it? I mean, that's up to you to decide. I don't know. This is why I say I don't know the answer. It's up to you to decide. But this is why it's so important to have like emergency funds and whatnot, because you can at least have, a little bit of time to gauge certain things. If that's the case, right? If that's if that's one of the problems that you're going through, for example, then you have an emergency fund. Okay, I have an emergency fund. Like, I have the ability to just not be around these toxic people that want to just try to control how I view life and are just allergic to positivity, because being there, it will suck your soul. Okay, not every job is like that, because sometimes you just have to recognize that, as we say in the Regal Change Academy, sometimes a job is just that. It's a job. And, it'll do, like, you'll have to do what you can. But the thing is like, only you can really analyze the situation. And sometimes you might just have to make a mistake, and keep that positive mindset. Stay grateful. Okay. This is something that I practice every single day. I try to, as soon as I wake up and as soon as I go to bed, and then little moments throughout the day, I'll just be grateful. I'll just say, my self-talk, it's not like I'm always talking to myself, but when I'm noticing I have a moment as like a mental rest place, I'm maybe like waiting for something, like maybe, I hate lines, but like if I'm waiting in line, if I'm waiting in line for something, like at the grocery store, going shopping or whatnot, waiting in line, I'll just, say, you know what, I'm thankful for the sunshine today. I'm thankful for the rain, whatever the kind of weather is. Or I'll just be like, I'm thankful for this food that I'm about to get. I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for having a community. I'm thankful for having people in my life that support me. I'm grateful for, just whatever it is that you're grateful for. And counting your blessings in those moments where things are like, or in lines, like in cars, right? When you're in, like, driving a car, for example, and there's a bunch of red lights and whatnot, or people are driving chaotically. I don't know what it's been recently, but people have been driving crazy recently, like seriously crazy. And all I can say is like, look, man, there's been a few close calls, and we got to be more careful and vigilant out here, because people are they're just not paying attention, man. It's just, they're on their phone like while they're driving. And I think that's really dangerous. Like, I think it's really, really dangerous to be in that kind of position. But anyway, that's kind of a side note. But the point is like, people, they're like putting themselves in these situations where they're going to intentionally, sometimes your ignorance is going to hurt other people, whether you want it to or not. And this is why it's so important to stay as knowledgeable as possible and implement wisdom through discipline. Okay? If you have it takes discipline to have wisdom. And likewise, it also takes action, and it takes investment of resources or time or energy on your part to attain wisdom. So in order to have the discipline as well, you need those investments. You need to invest yourself into those disciplines. I've got somebody that I'm working with in my one-on-one mentorships calls right now, and he's going through a time where he has to he's trying to get his ducks in a row. He's really trying to harness his creative power into a project, and he just wants to go full force. And it's going to take discipline. He definitely has the wisdom, and he definitely is capable of the discipline. Now it's just about the implementation, okay? And that sometimes is 50% of the battle. It's just the implementation of the discipline, and through wisdom, or the implementation of wisdom through discipline, rather. But the point still stands, is the more you pay attention to the world, and again, I don't like to say pay attention, but the more you invest attention into the world, you don't invest into the worldliness, but you invest into the structure of reality, let's say. Because this is a simulation and a simulator, but you can choose whether to be in the simulator or to stay stuck in the simulation. You can play the game, or you can let the game play you, right? And sometimes when you're playing the game well, the devil is going to send people that are going to inflict spiritual suffering upon you. They want you in a loop. The devil wants you in a loop. And you know what? You might not see it. You might not see it because it might be so subtle. The things, the lies, the deceptions might be so subtle that, man, you just didn't see it. You just didn't see it. And what do you do about that, man? What do you do, right? It's you can only do so much when it comes to that. And again, you might just have to go through the experience. If you're going through a terrible experience, honestly, that's going to make you more wise if you actually learn from it. Because if you're in that situation A, right, and you want to get to situation C, you just have to accept first that you're in situation A. It sucks. It's not a good thing, right? Not good. But it's better than putting yourself, in situation Q, and you're actually maybe materially you're gaining a few things, but with your soul, you're completely selling your soul. But what's the payout, right? Because all of us are selling parts of our soul, whether we want to or not. It's just how you do it. And it's just for the reasons why you're doing it. I've already given my soul to Jesus, though. Jesus owns me. Jesus has me. I am his. Now, in ways, I'm still participating in things and doing things that are in a way, it's not like selling my soul to Jesus per se, but I'm serving my soul to Jesus. I'm serving him by giving my soul to him. These videos right now, I see this as me doing my due diligence to just give somebody out there, whoever needs to hear this message, the message of, look, here's what happened in my mistakes. Here's what I would do to rectify them now. And here's what I learned from them. It's up to you to decide whether or not these words are, you should listen to them or not. It's up to you. Take it with a grain of salt or even a pound of salt. I don't care. But this is what I'm putting out there because I know people are going to resonate with this message in some way, shape, or form. All right. So the thing is like, we have to get to a point in our life where if we are recognizing that we're around people that are inflicting suffering, like I talk about in my book here, if we're getting to that point where people are inflicting suffering intentionally and we see this, you have to steer clear of this. Or if they're just weak people, like, be mindful around them. Be mindful, because those are going to be the most dangerous types of people. They're going to betray you. They will backstab you. They will try to kill you in one way, shape, or form, and they might not even mean to do it. It's just their ignorance and their lack of a spine is going to cause that. So be careful, be mindful, and stay vigilant, all right? If you want to sign up for the Regal Change Academy, check out the links in the description box below. And then also, if you want to set up a one-on-one call with me for mentorship, check that out, and the link is in the description box below. I reply best to email or Instagram or X messaging, Instagram DMs or X DMs, right? I don't know how people are getting my number still. I don't know how, because I don't have my number on anything. Telegram, there's only a few people like in the Regal Change Academy that know about it, so I don't know what's going on with that exactly, but I think Telegram thing could just be a little bit of a lot of scams on there, because I know in the past we've had scams pop up, but yeah, like the world is just a scam, man. Like the world is really just a scam. Well, it's not like I would say the creation itself isn't a scam. It's the way that people have curated the world into this worldliness. Because the devil is the king of this world, right? But man, it's just so hard to watch sometimes, right? The simulator is where I want to be anyway. I don't want to be a loser. I want to be a winner. I want to be focused on solutions. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to where I need to be. That's just the way that I am. That's just the way that I know I need to be. So I'm going to get out there. I'm going to kick some butt. And I'm not going to be sorry for the people that don't know how to take something when it's available to them. I'm somebody that doesn't squander any opportunity anymore. I used to squander opportunities, or I capitalize on the wrong opportunities. This is something I posted in the Regal Change Academy earlier today, was like, a lot of you guys are just not, like, you're not failing. You're just allocating your resources in the wrong ways. And I know this because even me, like, I have to, when I point one finger out at you guys, I'm pointing one right back at me, because I have to recognize, and I need to talk to the right people sometimes. I know that for a fact, if I, just like a year ago, when things were really looking positive, and they still are looking positive, but like a year ago, I just had like a wave that of like success and momentum that I could have capitalized on more than than I did in retrospect. I could have capitalized on them more. And I think in life, you're only going to have a few of those kinds of like big waves of momentum, right? Because you'll have like every week, maybe you'll have like a couple days where it's a little better than the others, right? And then there might be a day where it's not as good as the others. Because if you think about like how many days there are in a year, 365, if you have like the top 10% of days and the top 20% of days, that's like 30, like let's do a standard deviation. Let's have the top 2.5% of days and the bottom 2.5% of days, because 95% is the standard deviation usually. So if we have like the standard deviation of 95%, we have 2.5% of days. What's the math on that? It's like they're going to be about maybe 10 days in the year where they're really bad and 10 days in the year where they're really good. But if you can really capitalize on those really good days, that's like almost one good day, like really good day a month, if you think about it. And if you can capitalize on those really good days in the month, man, it'll make the bad days, it'll just nullify them. They'll just be nullified. So you can really capitalize on those really positive days. Man, that's where it's at. And I don't know why enough people aren't thinking about this or talking about this. I'm just realizing it, and maybe I don't feel like this is something to really pioneer though. I feel as though it's just something that's waiting to be discovered or rediscovered. It's not something that's created all the time. It can be created, absolutely, but it's more about a discovery. It's more about a rediscovery. But I think that's everything that I have to say on this topic for today. I hope everybody stays blessed out there. Peace be with you all. Until next time.